Sue Storm needs a day off to get a pedicure. I'd held off on doing my review of Fantastic Four First Steps because I actually found it to be a bit of a perplexing movie. It's very easy to judge movies that you really like or that you really hate, but the ones in the middle are a little bit more complicated. And what I ended up realizing was that when it comes to the movie in general, I really don't have anything to say about it that other people haven't said. It was good, but not great. It was very visually stylish, but it just was kind of missing something just to give it that magic that would make it a truly great movie. So what I realized was that I had ended up analyzing this movie from my point of view as a mother, and that does make sense. I used to read Fantastic Four comics and a lot of other Marvel comics back when I was a kid, and one of the things I loved about it was its very realistic depiction of a family. I came from a big family myself, and so the bickering and the dynamics and the way that, people are constantly having to bump up against each other because, proximity causes friction. All of those things really rang true to me. And the thing that I always loved about them was that when it mattered, they would come together. They would drop their differences and be like, nope, we're family, we're a team, we're sticking together. And that's very, very aspirational for real life families. I do think the film managed to capture that. And generally it was respectful of the source material and captured the vibe, although it was generally a bit more serious in tone overall than sometimes the comics would be. But yeah, other than that, I really don't have anything to add, like from a filmmaking point of view. So though, what is my point of view on this movie as a mom, which I think is going to be a little bit different if you're not a mom because you're just going to notice different things. First off, I want a Herbie. We are a quarter of the way into the 21st century and we still don't have robots that do all our chores. Why? When Sue tells Reed that she's pregnant, she goes, nothing's gonna change. And I laughed so hard at that, and I'm sure other parents did too, because, yeah, right. Having a kid means that your life as you know it is smashed into a million pieces, and then you spend the rest of your time on this earth attempting to reassemble those pieces into some kind of mosaic, except lots of the pieces are now missing, and new pieces are constantly being added and taken away. So it's just sort of this perpetual, chaotic, unfinished, wonderful project. If you don't have kids, you can kind of get the joke, but that is definitely a joke that you'll really appreciate if you've gone through the process of having children. I saw some reviews where Sue Storm was accused of being a girl boss. I just don't agree with that. I liked seeing her in the function of a peacemaker and a diplomat because Sue Storm has always been a very maternal character in every sense of the word. She is warm, she is caring, she does cook. She does hold the family together, but she's also protective and responsible. And it's really normal for moms to spend their day sitting a couple of snot-nosed little brats together at a table and saying, you need to work out your differences. And then when they're done at the United Nations, they go home and do this with their kids. When Ben was cooking dinner, I was like, oh man, it would save me so much time if I could smash garlic with my fist. You're gonna ruin your appetite, said every mom ever. Oh, and how quick was Sue happy to confirm that she was pregnant? It's like the most fun news to share ever. One thing I struggled with is that Reed Richards is the world's smartest man, but he's not an OBGYN, and even if he was, it wouldn't be ethical for him to be the primary doctor for his wife. So, I don't know, I wonder if this was just to kind of try to streamline the story and not introduce too many characters. But there was this weird lack of support around Sue. She appeared to be getting no prenatal care at all other than in her husband's lab, which is strange because this is the most unusual pregnancy that's ever happened. And by default, that makes it high risk. So yeah, that was weird. And I don't know. She did get to have the coolest ultrasound in the world though by making her tummy disappear. So I will give her that. I think somebody at Disney has finally realized that spending the last 10 years nuking credibility with parents was a bad strategy because this film does actually treat the institution of the family with respect. Now, there's always going to be stories that aren't about a normal nuclear family, but it just feels like something happened over the last decade where that almost got disparaged at times, and that just wasn't necessary. You can elevate other stories without making bad statements about family, given that family is, the structure that has underpinned all of civilization through all of human history. So while I like the presentation of the family, I have to say there was one member of it that just didn't do that for me, and that was Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. Now, Pedro Pascal is a very good actor, but a lot of other people have pointed out too that he was just miscast in this role. I can't really put my finger on it. I think some of it is the writing. I think the writers wanted to do something to counterbalance the fact that he is an extremely powerful character. He's very intelligent. He does a lot of the intellectual heavy lifting for the group. And then his powers themselves, he's super strong, he's stretchy, he's fast, all of these things make him a little bit unrelatable if you don't write him correctly. But I don't think what they needed to do to balance that out was make him kind of like a little bit of a wimp. He just lacked something. I mean, this is a character who the film says can't cook and can't drive a car. And I'm sorry, it wouldn't even matter at that point if Sue was attracted to him. And frankly, I didn't understand why from seeing their character interactions on screen. But she's not going to date a guy, let alone marry him and have kids with him if he can't cook and he can't drive. It's like, girl, you are going to be on your own when it comes to the school run, grocery shopping, taking your kid to soccer practice, packing the lunches. When you have kids, you already have enough helpless creatures running around your house who are no use at all until a certain age. And even then it's only reluctantly. You don't need to also be taking care of this grown man. So yeah, I don't know. It didn't work for me. John Krasinski was on screen as Mr. Fantastic for about 4.5 seconds, and I bought him a lot more. I really wish that they would have just brought him back for this film because I think it would have gone a lot better. The other things that didn't really ring true for me had to do with Sue's pregnancy. There isn't ever really a proper discussion about whether or not she should even be participating in superhero type stuff after the Silver Surfer and Galactus show up. And there's this really, really brief conversation that she has with Reed where, he's like, oh, it's the first time a pregnant woman has gone into space or something like that. And then she's like, I know, I really do. But do you? Do you? And then she says something that really bugged me, which is just because I'm not talking about it doesn't mean I'm not thinking about it. Reed Richards is a good dad. If you've got a deadbeat dad or a dad who just isn't involved at all, then, of course you're going to be making decisions without him. But Reed is a good husband and a good father, and he should be involved in this conversation, and he should be involved in making incredibly important decisions. And you're pregnant and very pregnant. When Franklin is born, this is not a preemie looking baby. This is a full-term baby. So they went into space with a 9 months pregnant woman. Space is dangerous. There's very serious risk of death just from the space flight itself. You've got all kinds of extra exposure to radiation. There's no way any of that is good for these tiny little developing chromosomes. And I can just tell you that in Sue's position, I would have been you 3 boys go into space. I'm going to be sitting on this stylish 1960s retro couch with my swollen ankles up on a pillow, watching Jane Austen films on a loop, and you tell me how it went when you get back. Because really, if humanity is making a pregnant woman work not just right up to, but during and after childbirth, I don't even know if the Earth deserves to be saved. The only plus I could see is that being in zero-G would probably be really helpful with sciatica. So, very foolishly, the team drags a heavily pregnant Sue Storm with them into space, and they go and have their failed negotiation with Galactus, and then she's sent into labor. Do they have a doctor? No. Do they have a midwife? No. Do they appear to have any equipment related to childbirth other than the normal medical tools that you'd have for common surgical procedures? Absolutely not. What if her placenta isn't fully delivered? What if the baby went breech? What if there's uncontrolled bleeding? And I refuse to buy the idea that Reed is so smart that he can deal with it because he spends the whole time so nervous that his eyes don't go any lower than Sue's nose. And then he tells her to push. And it's dude, you have no idea if she's even at 10 centimeters. Like most movies, Fantastic Four seriously downplays how gross childbirth is. Fluids float in zero-G. And there would be a lot of fluids. So many kinds of fluid. I did laugh when the Silver Surfer shows up to try to take newborn baby Franklin, and Sue's just kill her. And Johnny doesn't even say anything. He just like goes and puts his little bottom in the artillery chair and goes pew pew, because the only thing scarier than space monsters is a mom who's gone full beast mode because someone's trying to hurt her kid. At the end of the movie, being a mother literally kills Sue. Relatable. But then a hug from her cute little baby brings her back to life. Also relatable. I liked this movie. I didn't love it. It wasn't perfect, but it was fun. With all films that are based on books written for children, I give a Snape score of from 1 to 5 based on how faithful it is to the source material, and this one came in with a very respectable 4. I feel the characters were accurately portrayed, their dynamics were accurate, and it's clear that the people who made this film didn't just respect the source material, they actually loved it. But what did you think? Did you see Fantastic Four? Are you going to see it when it comes out on streaming? What did you think of the family dynamics? And especially if you've had kids, let me know if there were any highly relatable moments that you spotted.